Okay, open it up.
That was it. That was the intro.
Oh, no quarter.
All right, welcome back to the No Quarter Podcast. I think we are on episode 14.
One of them.
Yeah,
14,
13.
15.
What was it, 11? For like 6 episodes. Did you see that?
Yeah. Every episode Josh listed as episode 11.
So what happens when you post, you can reuse the details, so I don't have to retype all of our links and stuff, and then I just change the pertinent information per that episode. But apparently I was forgetting to change probably the most pertinent, which was the episode number.
Everyone's
title.
like, dude, this is a long podcast. There's
Episode
like
11,
5 episodes
11,
of this?
11,
Jesus.
11.
That's
Did you go back and edit it?
Yeah, I went
Yeah,
back and
it's-
changed them all, but it was pretty funny. I kind of, at a certain point, I'm like, maybe I should just let it roll.
Just
Nobody
stuck at
called us
11.
out on it though.
Nobody.
No.
Which kind of sad.
Kind of sad. So that means we need to get our viewership and listeners up. And
Yeah.
even then, would they say something, or would they just assume we're a bunch of fucking idiots?
Yeah,
just
I
like,
don't know.
we're just gonna
Probably
let
a bunch
we'll
of
just
fucking
let it ride.
Probably the latter.
Yeah, we'll just let it ride.
Yeah. Welcome back, buddy.
Yeah,
I
it's
missed
good
you
to
the
be
last
back.
couple episodes,
It's
Yeah.
crazy, as much as you want to go on vacation, like you want to just come home.
dude.
Yep.
Idaho, I missed, like, what's not to like about Hawaii, but
Right.
dude, I missed it. Getting down to the days, I was like, let's get back home.
Vacation's great, but it's not real. And at
Yeah.
a certain point, you kind of know it's not real, and the escape becomes mundane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When the days
Unless-
start ticking down when you got to leave, you're
Yeah.
like, fuck.
Unless you don't have to come back,
Unless, well,
Yeah.
yeah, then I guess
then it's like, I miss Idaho, but
I think we're vacationed out for a while.
yeah.
It's nice to get away and, decompress, but the vacation needs a vacation.
you do need
no,
a
I get
vacation
it.
from a vacation.
So
And
I'm
then
done
there's that,
traveling
like,
for a while. I'm
that-
going to be,
That lull when you get back and you're kind of like,
yeah.
Yeah.
like you're almost like not depressed, but like post vacation blues, like where you're like, what am I supposed to do? I have so much shit to take care of, but like I just kind of want to not move right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get that.
It seems like, though, when we go on vacation, we're always doing something on vacation.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
it's not really just relaxing.
No,
It should be relaxing.
there are brief
yeah.
flashes of relaxation.
Yeah.
Especially when we see pictures of you on the beach, like talking to what looks like strangers, and your hands are up in the air, and I'm like, I wonder what he's saying right now. Me and Josh are looking at a picture, we're like, he's drunk for sure.
Yeah.
But
Is he
wonder what-
angry?
Yeah, is he
Or
happy
just
is he angry?
enthusiastic?
Or is he just like, listen, I gotta talk to you about these liberals?
It is weird, though. I talk to a lot of people everywhere I go.
You are that guy.
It's
You,
good,
you
though.
don't walk out of a place without a new friend.
Yeah, I like
Yeah. I mean,
I like
it's-
to meet people.
Yeah. Well, like, you've never known a stranger, right?
Yeah.
Like, you get put in a room and you're just like, I guess we're friends now.
I'm like, I show up, I feel awkward, I leave.
I'm the same way. Or I get overly loud and try to take over the room.
Yeah.
And then they want to fight you.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I'm going to just get louder. Now I'm going to say something to make people laugh.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I'm validated. We're good. Like, life's all right. No, but that's good, man. I'm glad you guys got to go. And honestly, like, I totally get that. Like, there was stints where me and Erica would go on vacation a lot. And we're like, yeah, maybe we should stick to home base for a little bit.
Yeah.
But with how much you work and how stretched thin you get, I think it's important for you to be able to turn the brain off a little bit.
It is. I'm going to be down in Sac a lot more lately. I need to get to the stores and not just focus on Boise. So I've got to get to Sac. I got to get to Sparks. Those are the things I'm going to be focused on moving forward this
Yeah.
next year.
Tough thing about having 3 stores in 3 states.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Requires a lot of
Bouncing.
movement.
It does.
You can hit them in one freaking swoop, though.
It's kind of difficult, though, because I got to fly. There's no direct flights
Right.
to Reno. So I've got to either go to Vegas or LA and then back up, or go straight to Sacramento, rent a car, go to Sparks. Then go back to Sac.
Which sucks because it's like, what, 5-hour drive from here to Reno and like a 3-hour drive from Sac to Reno? 2.5, 3?
2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, an hour and a half. Hour and a
Oh,
half
I
from-
guess that's
yeah.
true. From Sacramento.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I used to live in Vacaville, which
I
was
just
a
don't
little
like
further.
doing the drive anymore, man. It's just, I've been putting so many miles on my truck, and it takes, 8 hours, dude, on the road.
Yeah.
A lot of it, you don't have cell service, so you can't get anything done on the phone anyhow.
Yeah, just in the salt flats, just
Yeah,
staring off into
Especially not
nothing.
today. We're in the throes of a cyber attack.
Yeah, no kidding.
Who knows if this is even recording like it's supposed to? Got all the
find
cyber
out.
terrorists
They're
trying
listening.
to shut us down.
God damn it.
Think
Well,
tomorrow-
break us in. Where are we at? What are we doing? And
Well, first, can you fix the flag? It's driving me crazy. Thank you. I was like all wrinkled up. Yeah,
Fixed.
Well, let's see. We recorded 2 episodes while you were gone.
Yep.
That was what 3 weeks ago you took off?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Well, let's catch you up. We talked about our daddy issues,
Oh yeah.
Oh, good.
and that was good. You missed that.
And then posting tonight will be our last episode.
Yep, with Corey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. A good fresh set of opinions.
Yeah, it
on
was an interesting
police
conversation.
work. But what'd you miss? I don't know. You're on vacation. P Diddy has hella lube. You're like hella lube.
I did read that.
Yeah, hurricanes ripping through
Hurricanes
East
and ripping-
Coast.
Yeah.
What was the last Trump assassination attempt? The golf course had that already happened by the time you left?
I think that was happening when we were there.
Yeah.
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 So that was another one, which is crazy because that literally was like a 6-hour segment in the news, and then everybody just kind of stopped talking about it.
It's because no shots were fired.
Yeah.
And what's
Well,
really
no shots were fired.
they were?
Well,
Secret
from
Service.
the Secret Service.
Oh yeah, but like he didn't get any shots off.
Yeah,
at
but you
Trump.
had like a freaking little nest set up.
dude with like plate carriers hanging
Yeah,
and
like armored, like a reinforced position.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Wild.
I will say this: an assassination on Trump obviously is. We can't be killing our presidents. We can't be doing shit like that, right?
There is no literally we can't have any political violence as much as
can't.
we
we
joke
want
about it, but
we can't have it.
I mean that's
Wait, what's the but?
yeah.
But the fact that Trump continued his game of golf
Yeah.
after all that
did he?
shit
I heard they ushered him out of there. Like
no,
right
he went
away.
back and finished his round of golf.
after the fact.
Yeah.
He's like poking his head up out of the sand trap. Is it clear?
like
He's
like
ballsy,
think about
dude.
that.
I don't even know that I would go outside anymore.
If I was Donald Trump, you would never see me again. I would settle down somewhere and I'd buy my own little island and I'd disappear.
That's kind of his platform, though. I mean, like he really is not interested in bowing down to the pressure.
No.
Which honestly, I've had my issues with more personality type issues with that guy, but the more he continues to step up in that manner, the more I start to respect him.
Yeah, he's
Truly.
tenacious.
He's a tenacious
He's got
dude.
grit, you know? And you don't get to where you are in business by being a soft ass bitch.
No, but that I think you can kind of hide behind a lot of bravado, money,
Yeah.
power, whatever. But when bullets literally start flying at you, and now you have what the Secret Service, somebody leaked there's like 3 or 4 different hunter killer teams known in the U.S.
Yeah, I heard that.
that are currently actively trying
What's
to find
next though,
opportunities
dude? Like an
against him.
IED on him or some fucking surface-to-air
Probably.
missile on his own plane?
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
Like, dude, I mean, what's next? Well, we got 45 days.
Yeah.
Like,
Something like that. It's probably golf. I think honestly what's next is he's gonna go play some golf.
that reminds me, I need to register for my absentee ballot. I'm going to be working.
yeah, get
I
that
gotta do
done.
that.
I'll
It's
vote-
important,
I'll vote
dude. You
in your
guys got to
favor.
drag everybody you know
Yeah.
to the polls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
Like,
like
I'll be delivering my parents there. Like, they fucking grew up in a household, conservative as can be. My parents both hated Trump. And now my mom is begging for him to be back in the White House.
Everyone is.
yeah.
Everyone is.
Begging
Dude,
for
they're,
him.
they're doing all these like street interviews, like in the ghettos and stuff, looking at like different, what's the economic classes or whatever. And everybody's like, bring Trump back.
Yeah.
And they're trying to play the race card and they go and they interview black communities and like, bring Trump back. They
Here's
go,
the deal.
Hispanic communities, bring him back.
If you're not from California, you probably don't pay attention to the California politics, except for everybody in the United States hates California,
Hey,
right?
everybody in the
and they
the
hate
United
all their
States
politics.
thinks they hate California. What they hate is San Francisco and LA.
Correct.
And
But
San Jose
nobody
Cupertino.
knows their
I
policies
say
because
I say San Francisco, the Bay.
Yeah, the
we
Bay.
the way we know. I know you're from San Jose, so it offends you. But when you say San Francisco to the rest of the country,
Yeah,
that is the
it's
Bay Area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And Oakland's like, what about us?
Yeah.
the problem is nobody knows what this administration's policies are except for what they've seen with Biden.
Yep.
But they're like trying to distance her from the Biden administration,
Which is hysterical.
she is
Yeah.
part of.
She is. I mean, she
almost
She is the
she's
administration.
Yeah, Biden's not capable of making cognitive
Bro,
decisions.
they ushered him off the stage today. He could barely breathe and talk this morning.
Yeah.
When he's talking about the
It's
hurricane.
not good when you can't talk and breathe at the
Dude,
same
he's
time.
like fucking coughing and like he can barely get a
man.
sentence
I
out.
honestly, I truly, at this point, my disdain for him is gone. I kind of feel bad for the guy. Like he's just being abused as an elder.
Fuck him. Let him be abused.
dude, fuck-
he likes
fuck
that
Biden.
shit. He yearns for abuse, bro.
I don't know about it.
I don't know.
I wonder how
We'll
long they
see.
let him sit in a shitty diaper before they
you think
change it.
Dr. Jill is his mistress or is what's it called?
Master?
No, what's the thing where
Dominatrix.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, that guy likes getting paid, bro. 100%. He takes dildos in the ass.
What's that called? No, it's not dominatrix. Is that what it is? Where you like the guys like to get tied up and stuff?
Yeah. And like, the dominatrix would do
okay.
that. Yeah. And
Yeah.
he'd be the submissive, the sub.
You know a lot about this.
I'm a kinky motherfucker, dude. Let's go. Hey man, you guys like hunting? I have other agendas.
Oh man.
I don't know, man. It's going to be a wild ride. It's going to be a wild 45 days.
Yeah,
Hopefully
dude.
nothing crazy comes of this.
We'll see another attempt for sure.
You know,
for
it's
sure.
really weird. In 2008, like that's 2007, 2008 is when I started my business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Started out of the trunk of my car.
Everybody in Sacramento knew you then.
Yeah, and then go into a garage and then go to my first location. And the spike, everybody was so worried about Obama taking guns, right? We haven't seen one spike through this whole administration. You know, actually 2020 we saw a little
Just the
bit
COVID
because
spike.
The COVID
The
spike.
COVID spike was big.
And then, the Summer of Love spike, with everybody rioting and the George Floyd shit. But
Yeah.
there has not been really an uptick in sales. It's been pretty flat. And here they are actually saying, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And a lot of people forget that if she had her way, she would have outlawed handguns in the state of California.
Dude, I appreciate you bringing that up. Dude, I sent it to you guys on Instagram. She made a public comment saying, just because you have the right to bear arms doesn't mean that we can't come into your house and make sure that
Yes.
I can't remember how she
and that was
worded
real.
it.
While
She
Gavin's
literally was like,
standing behind her,
yeah, she's like, we'll come into your house and make sure that everything is
stored
as it
correctly.
is.
Okay.
I put it on her stories. I was like, I would love to see her try to come into people's homes.
But I think, the drum beat, right? I'm going to take your guns. I'm going to take your guns. But they're just always talking about it. I think people are like, yeah, right. Fucking bring it at this point.
Yeah, at this point, it's like, I doubt it, right? A lot of people, I think, are falling into they say it all the time, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
The problem is when they do enact things like the ATF decides they're going to take pistol braces, they're going to make them illegal. It takes forever for those things to get unwound through the court system. And that's where California has been for the last 20, 30 years. They make a law, right? They know that it's unconstitutional, but they also know that it's going to take years for this thing to get litigated to a resolution to overturn. And I think that's where people, if they don't get involved, right, at the lower level, your city council meetings, things of that nature, where you could stop it before it gets to, legislative, the big legislators, then we could have an issue, you know what I mean? Because people are just putting their head in the sand. They're not doing anything about it. And I'm not saying rush out, buy guns, ammo, whatever. There's a lot of that already there. However, you can't wait until something happens and then be reactive. You have to be proactive.
What I'm curious about is how, of the people that own guns, because they say there's, twice as many guns in America as people?
Oh, yeah.
Roughly?
100%.
Okay, so that's fine. What percentage of the population are gun owners? Do you know that?
In the full United States?
Yeah. Like how many of the actual, because for example, there's twice as many. I mean, in
they've
this
done
room,
studies on it,
we're taking up a significant amount of the per capita.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we get to play gun shuffling here, and this hasn't even touched my gun safe.
Right. I mean, yeah, exactly. How many we've got?
I have
four,
1, 2, 3, 4.
Four. We've got
5,
eight in here that are just visible.
I think I have seven of mine in here or something like that.
And that's just what's visible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So my point is like, okay, so per capita, like the average is 2 per guns. My curiosity is how many of the population actually do own guns? And then of that percentage of people, of that segment of people, when push comes to shove and if Kamala gets her way and they get to do mandatory buybacks for ARs or whatever they're going to try to do, how many of those people are going to abide?
You're
Quite a
You're
few.
going to get few. You'll get a few.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
But you're going to get a lot of pushback.
Oh, definitely. And I guess my question is do you think the pushback?
I mean, guys were going down and registering getting their free tax stamp on their fucking AR pistols.
Yeah.
Suckers.
So dumb.
What idiots.
Suckers.
And then you had,
But
we
people
talked about
did
this
it.
before. We talked about this before on the podcast. There's a store here that had a big ass sign out, hey, we'll register your AR pistol. You know,
Right.
it's like, dude, fuck you. Don't advocate for anybody registering anything.
No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
At all.
So that's my curiosity is like those programs are going to work to an extent. You know what I mean? And I think at this point they realize they're not going to get rid of guns in a foul swoop. What they're going to have to do is try to chip away at it. And the question is how much are they going to ramp up pressure? And as they chip away, how many people are just going to become comfortable with the whole idea of, well, you know what, you're right. Like, I may not have a whole lot of freedom, but I don't have a whole lot of need either. I can sit on my couch. I can death scroll until I go to sleep.
Yeah.
I can wake up. I can eat my food. I own nothing, but it doesn't really bother me because I have everything I want. Like, dude, this idea of perpetual apathy is crazy.
It's a big word.
I think we got a bigger problem.
Which one,
honestly,
perpetual
like,
or apathy?
Both of them.
We
String
have
them
a,
together, and I'm confused.
we have a budget that is completely out of touch.
Yeah.
Like, the debt, this country's debt is, I personally feel that we are a year, two, maybe
Oh, we're insolvent already.
in a huge collapse. A huge collapse is going to come. We're going to have a reset. And I don't know what that looks like.
I don't think that.
The debt is so high.
I think at a certain point, it's not going to be a reset. Well, we may end up seeing a political collapse, but the financial side, I don't know what that looks like because they've bailed themselves out so many different times. And yes, you're right. There should, in theory, be a ceiling to how many times you can bail yourself out, how much you can devalue the dollar. But at a certain point now, like, we got to go away from the gold standard, dude. All of the money in the world is just ones and zeros. It's digital. It's nothing. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
I've got a pretty good customer friend. I would consider him more of a friend than a customer. Spends a lot of money in my store. Owns a very, very popular body shop in Sacramento. And he's saying that his business is down 30%. And then when people come in with a wrecked vehicle, they're using multiple credit cards
To pay.
for their $500, $250, or $1,000 deductible.
No way.
So that's concerning.
That's absolutely concerning.
People are broke, man. People are broke.
That's crazy.
And I'm grateful, that we do have customers coming in the doors at each stores. Now, we're down. We are absolutely down.
Everyone's down.
This summer's
We're
been
down.
crazy.
It's slowed.
Been the biggest slowdown that I've ever seen in 16 years doing this. And usually the gun industry is kind of
Bad politics equals
reception.
good sales.
It's kind of, politics drive sales, shootings drive sales, but it's been pretty, it's been pretty robust for the past 16 years.
We can
been
look at
steady.
it in a comical way instead of a stressed out way and say there's a direct correlation between the lack of toilet paper accessible and gun sales. Because if you look at just the last 10 years, if you look at the NICS charts, right, it's a gradual build. You see like the spike from Obama, the spike from Biden, and then it's kind of gradual. And then in like the end of 2020 and 2021, when COVID started becoming prevalent, it was the largest spike in gun sales in the United States ever recorded.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean, we're talking like hundreds of thousands above the next bar below.
Yeah.
And so I just correlate that with just the lack of toilet paper.
What do they say? Correlation doesn't equal causation. So
I don't know what that means. So that's,
We're on
totally
another.
fine.
There's another thing that's about ready to hit us within the next 16 hours. They're saying that the longshoremen, they're all going to strike. So, and all the ports are going to be shut down.
dude, yeah,
completely
that's.
down.
I think that's like happening.
Well,
right?
they want an 80% pay raise.
Oh,
Damn.
That's well.
I would like 100% pay raise, sir.
Yeah. No, seriously, they're that's what they're going for. They want an 80% pay raise.
This is
They
all.
said they haven't
It's
had
all
pay.
it's the Seaport Union, right?
Seaport, yeah.
And I wonder what they get paid hourly already.
I don't
But
know.
Union, they
people,
gotta be
this
in
is
the
not going to
30s
be a
and 40s.
popular opinion, but unions are fucking crazy.
Oh, for
They
sure.
really are.
The unions are some of the most corrupt organizations on the planet.
I'm telling you this, CalPERS, one of the biggest unions, right? If they don't keep filling that barrel, right? They have so many retirees. They got to keep hiring because I think they pay like 11% of their union dues are like 11%.
yeah,
If they don't continue to have that well to dip in, CalPERS goes bankrupt.
absolutely. They require new revenue streams, which means new employees to pay for the old.
Bro, I have buddies that have retired to the California Highway Patrol. They make more
Retired.
They make more retired, like 10, 12 grand a month on retirement for the rest of their life.
Well, I truly think that a lot of these unions, firefighters, highway patrol, so many of those guys would retire and then 3 to 5 years later die. And that was a sustainable model for them because they knew on average they weren't going to actually pay out that much in retirement. Well, the problem is people are living a lot longer now. This like whole multiple pharmaceutical thing or keeping people maybe alive. They're not thriving, but they're breathing, which means they're collecting a check.
That's not sustainable.
No.
By any measure.
And I would prefer for them to be alive and thrive, but my point behind that is I don't think that the model that they banked on before can continue. So I don't know where they go with it.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Down.
Well, this is my thing. I mean, remember Vallejo, California went bankrupt, and how many of the
Same with
retirees
Stockton.
they lost their pensions? Dude, this is my point. These like anybody who is banking on a union pension, they need to be privately planning for retirement.
Yeah,
100%.
Outside of what their pension is. You need to have an IRA or preferably a Roth,
Or buy a fucking secondary house.
Like
get something going.
Yeah. have
The
revenue
biggest wealth
streams.
I've ever made has never been from working. It's from selling homes.
Yep.
Really.
Every single home that since the first house I ever purchased to this house now, I mean, literally the progression, like how much money I've made on those.
Yeah, it allows you
real
to go
estate
bigger and
is
bigger and
really
bigger.
where it's at. If you can afford
Yeah.
to get into
That's what I want to
you should
get
buy a
into.
home. I wish I had rentals. You know, I wish kind of wouldn't have sold my first home, but you needed that to get to the next one,
Yeah.
to the next one. But
you
that
can.
wealth is huge.
I want to get into what I would love to get into is small multifamily,
Yeah.
4 to 6 units, and then grow from there.
It's hard to get into that initially
Is it?
because of the overhead costs and the down payment, right? Because there's a sweet spot number when you buy so for me, when I'm looking at buying a property for a rental property, I look at, okay, how much money do I have to put down to make the rent affordable for people to actually rent, but also
Exactly.
to cover my mortgage and then still profit enough to at least take a few bucks for me and then keep money in the account for damages, new roof, fucking water heaters, whatever.
So you're looking at your P&Ls saying,
Yeah.
how much, what's the total overhead? And then you have a margin that like, if you're below that margin, it's not a good
It's
deal.
not worth it.
And if it's
Yeah.
above that line, then it's
Yeah.
viable.
So like
it's
for
just
my
math.
Yeah, my last house that we bought and built was in Tennessee, Maryville, right where they did the new Smith and Wesson thing. And initially when I was approached with the opportunity, I was like, fuck no. And then they're building a Smith and Wesson factory right there and there's going to be like 100,000 new jobs there. And I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. And the rent was just about the same as I have my rental out here, right? So it was like equivalent. But I had to put $98,000 down, which was like, it sucked.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a big chunk.
But once that happened, I held onto the property for over a year, and I sold it. And I had a renter in it the whole time, and I walked away with like $70K.
Yeah. I have a buddy that he never sold his first home in Sacramento, and it's worth
Genius.
a ton of money.
Yeah.
And he was able to leverage that into different things. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that I've ever made was not buying a commercial property.
I feel that way.
So I'm already renting. I've been paying rent for 16, 17 years.
Yeah.
And each one of these stores, 4 years here.
Shit, you could have had your probably Sacramento store paid off already.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
You'd own it.
I would definitely be in a better position.
Yeah.
Because if the guns failed, I can rent it to somebody else.
Well, that was like the whole the McDonald's model.
Yeah,
right?
they're a real
Like,
estate business.
They're a real estate company. They're not a fast food company. Now, I think they make money on their fast food now.
Fuck yeah.
But what's this? Did you ever see the movie The Founder? I mean, it's a Hollywood rendition of it, but essentially what happened was he came in and he took over their franchising. He got contracted to have exclusive rights to franchise out the McDonald's brand and was franchising and was going under. He wasn't going to make any money. And he brought in a consultant who he ended up hiring that basically said, you don't realize what business you're in. You're not in the restaurant business. You're in the real estate business. You buy the land, you find franchisees, you lease the land to the franchisees and they rent it back to you. So your cash stream is constantly self-perpetuating.
Anybody that I know that has any wealth at all has owned all their properties.
Yeah.
Or had multiple properties and renting them out.
I mean, they say, land is the one form of wealth that really doesn't go away. You know what I mean? Recession or not, your land is still there. Your bank accounts can empty, the
it's
internet
crazy
can go
because
away, but
as we rent, and as you know here, you're on the hook for the rent. You're on hook for most of the maintenance in the building.
Yeah, they tripled
Then
that.
the taxes. It's pretty crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's I think that's where you can build a lot of wealth if you have enough money to
If you've
get
got the
started.
capital to get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally
But here's
agree.
the thing: if you already own a home, you can, unless you've refinanced for 100. If you suck that home dry, then you're fucked.
But you can
if
borrow
you,
against
if
it.
you haven't, use your primary residence as a vessel to buy yourself a nicer, newer home, and then rent your house out. Right? Boom. There you go. Right? If you have a house with 100,000 equity just sitting in it, it's a fucking piggy bank. You could leave it there, sure, or you could fucking
Leverage it.
and go buy a bigger house for yourself to live in with that huge amount of money that you have, and then rent that other house out and just make sure the rent's above the mortgage costs and stuff, and then make money on it and get paid to live in a nicer house.
But to the risk averse, right? You look at that and you're thinking, okay, I'm leveraging where I live, where my wife lives, where my kids live. So when a deal or if a deal goes bad, you know what I mean?
But like,
Now you're on the hook for 2 mortgage. And I
Have
know
you ever
that
had to kick somebody out of one of your homes? Like have to go through the whole court process and eviction
no, I've been really fucking lucky.
That's one thing that I worry about in California, owning any real estate in California and renting it out.
I want to basically exclusively own rentals near military bases.
Yep. Genius.
Because
there's a turnover anyways.
There's automatic turnover and their commands guarantee their lease.
Yeah, so you'll get like 2 years to 4 years depending on how long they're stationed.
Yeah,
right?
so like let's say you rent it to freaking Major so and so and his family, and he gets deployed and he and his wife moves back to whatever, command pays out the lease.
So that's like you look in places that are affordable. Then so you look at like where's the base in
Mountain Home.
Mountain Home.
but even just like in Florida, right? Like the Panama City Beach, Pensacola area, houses are fucking cheap, and there's a huge Air Force base there.
They're going to be cheap now.
Yeah. If you could get insurance,
the
maybe,
more,
I mean,
the more. So my end goal was to always get enough houses where I could not have any financial burden of buying a rental property in Florida, and then when it gets cold here, just pick up the kids and the wife and just get the fuck out.
Well, I mean, how many? It'd be interesting. Like, what? Let's say your average household income, just for normal middle class living, you need probably like 150 grand to cover, to live normal, maybe not extravagant, but normal, right? How many houses you think you need at whatever margin to be able to do that and then continue to grow? You know what I mean?
I've always
I
just
guess
looked
that's
at
probably a really poorly phrased question. But
no, like how many houses do you need to have that
yeah,
income where you don't actually have to go into an office and stuff?
Yeah.
I've always just looked at it as like a 10-door policy. Like get 10 doors and then you should be okay.
and then grow from there.
I have a buddy that only invests in like duplexes or fourplexes.
That's honestly the move at the end of the day.
That's
Yeah.
Multi-family homes
smaller.
and apartment complexes are genius.
And he did very well for a while. I don't know what he's doing now, if he's still on that track, but he was trying to buy a few of those a year, and they were paying off.
Yeah. Dude, in the late
And then
80s.
he'd actually buy, sorry, I didn't mean to cut
No,
you off,
you're
but
good.
he'd buy one that was like needed work. He'd fix it up, get them all rented out, and then flip them.
That's capital heavy though. You gotta be able to float the
yeah,
fix
yeah.
up.
Well, he
Yes.
had some investors and stuff, so
Yeah.
I mean, if you've got outside money, that makes a lot of sense.
It does. There are people that I know that have like they're buying like duplexes in like a lot of states. Like Idaho doesn't have a whole lot of duplexes. Like
There's only a few.
yeah, like if you look
Well,
at
no, duplexes. There's a ton. There's a ton of duplexes.
yeah,
I drive by them all the time, but like quads and sixes,
yeah,
there's
it's
not
not a
many.
lot. Because Idaho boomed quick
Mm-hmm.
and it was primary single family residence with farmland and
bro,
shit.
there's so many apartment complexes going up
Oh,
everywhere.
fucking tons.
But they're
tons.
big. They're all
huge.
150, 250
Oh yeah,
unit.
massive. But dude, like so the way I look at it too, and I didn't come from like my mother's side, and we all know my daddy issues. I grew up really poor with like my mom's side, a single mom, and she had to bust her ass just to even survive. But on my father's side, my grandma in like the late 80s was like working for a broker and was like, oh, this is how you should do it, and this is a way to wealth. Pretty much just said like go buy property and build apartment complexes and stuff. And like somehow she started buying house, 2 houses, 4 houses, and then she built an apartment complex in Sunnyvale. Then she built another apartment complex in Sunnyvale. Then she built an apartment complex in
When
Los
was
Altos
this?
Hills in like the 80s.
Dude, my grandfather tells me stories of him buying and selling land, businesses, and homes on handshakes.
Yeah.
Like he used to walk into the bank and he would know his banker, and they would basically cut deals on handshakes.
Yeah.
I'm like, and he tells me all the time, he's like, you got to do that. I'm like, Pops, I agree with you in principle.
It would be nice.
It would be, but but deals aren't cut that way anymore.
No.
Like, it doesn't matter if it's a locally owned bank. Deals don't get made on handshakes. It's not ranchers who have lived next to the same guy for 60 years anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
Oh,
just
Harold's reliable. We can trust
exactly.
him.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I lent him my tractor last winter and he gave it back in better. Like, that stuff doesn't happen anymore.
No.
You know, I wish it did.
That's how
but,
it should be
but
in
it's
ideal
just not.
circumstances.
Yeah. I
but-
mean, dude,
It's
he
kind of
tells.
crazy, like when you think about. I mean to cut you off in,
No,
in
you're
that
fine.
aspect, but to think about the kids that are growing up now, if their parents aren't helping
bro.
them or setting them up, where are they going to be able to afford a home?
No, the
No.
kids can't. People can't afford homes now.
even
Yeah.
our, like my generation, your generation, dude, we're
Pretty
we're lucky.
fortunate that we probably had good wives and we were forward minded enough to plan
Yep.
and get into homes. I mean, and I kick myself because my wife and I, we could have bought a home, you know, just at the bottom and we didn't. We're like, oh, we're not ready because we had this mindset of like, oh, you need to grow in your career, you need to put money away or whatever. We could have bought on a bad loan and then refied. We made the money to do it,
Yeah.
but we were more risk averse at the time and we didn't have the maturity to understand the big picture.
Well,
of
and
it.
also it doesn't help that like when you're in high school or in college, they don't teach you how to buy and sell houses.
Correct.
Bro, I'm going to tell you this. I was making a shit ton of money in the car business and just pissing my money away.
Renting?
Pissing it away. I was renting, but I was just blowing it on everything. Motorcycles, cars, trucks, did
Toys.
boats, toys.
Young man stuff.
And
Yeah.
he's really a good friend of mine now, Johnny. So I don't know if he's listening to this, but he worked for Capital One Auto Finance and he was buying all of our loans when I was a finance manager, or special finance manager. And one day he took me to lunch and he's like, bro, you need to buy a house. And he broke it all down. Like I was like 20. And I was like, dude, buy a house? I didn't even think that was even
20 years old in what, 1995?
Yeah. So no. So they're like, he's like, you need to buy a house. And I was like, dude, I don't even want to own a home.
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, no, you need to own a house.
You got to put your
And
money somewhere where it's
yeah,
working
and so he
for you.
started showing me all the matrices and stuff. You know, he's super smart with finance. I mean, to this day, I think he's pretty much retired. But I bought my first house, and my parents thought I was crazy because I paid $249,950 for it, and it was a beater. Like it literally was. It was a beater. It was a nice house, but a nice neighborhood. But it was a beater. It needed a lot of work, windows, roof, the whole 9 yards. And that house was one of my biggest investments. I doubled my money on that house.
What year was that?
I was like 21. So what, 47 now? Yeah, I don't know, like
90s?
I don't know how to count that far
No,
back.
it was 2000, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, $250,000 back
Somewhere
then, that's a
right-
lot of money.
It was a lot of
money.
Yeah, it was. My parents were like, "Are you fucking crazy?"
Yeah, that's a lot of
I
money.
think my
Yeah.
house payment was like $1,600.
Yeah, dude, that's
Maybe-
a lot of money.
That is a lot of money
less
back
than
then
that.
too.
I don't know. I don't remember what exactly.
I'm
what
like,
it
I have a
was.
mortgage here in Idaho that's like 13 on one of my rentals.
Yeah.
1,300.
Yeah,
Dude,
it
my
was-
buddy, they bought at the bottom of the market after the bubble.
Yeah.
And I think their payment on like a 1,400 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, decent sized backyard, I think their payment was like $900.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. Fuck.
like 20 years ago. So my parents moved up here to Idaho. They retired, and so my sisters and I, we decided that we're going to buy houses in that same neighborhood where they were at. And so I picked one that was on a corner lot. And I want to say after all the options and everything, it was like $109 or 109,000. And I think the payment was like 700 something. And I get back after coming out and picking it out. They were going to start building it in a few months. I get back to California, driving back, and I get a phone call from a real estate agent or the lady at the show, you know, where, you know, how they have the
Leasing
little
office or
yeah,
buying office.
yeah.
Yeah.
So she calls me and says, "Hey, this guy really wants this one corner lot. Are you willing to move down?" And I was like, "Not really," because I wanted the RV access on both sides. The guy offered me $30,000 to walk away from it.
No
and
way.
he ended up buying like 4 or 5 houses in there.
Yeah.
And now they're all rentals. In my parents' neighborhood, he still has them. And I'm like, dude, that's one of the biggest mistakes I ever made financially.
Selling that place.
It was selling that, giving it. I
You're
walked
giving the
away
rights
for 30.
away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I
30K
should have kept that house.
30K is nice though.
And
Back
30
then, I thought it was.
and 30K, if you don't spend it, if you reinvest it, it can go a long way.
Dude, I think I bought a motorcycle and some other. I was just like, stupid.
Yeah. But here's the thing
dumb.
also. We're part of the human race. You know what I mean? Like we are in the fucking rat race. Like at the end of the day, like
So what does that mean? What do you mean?
I don't.
by that?
Hey, I don't make decisions like that anymore. Especially after being married.
Yeah.
Like I'm very cautious.
Oh,
of
you get a
what-
good woman and they demand a lot of you.
I You know, I spoil her, right? She spoils
No, I don't
me.
mean demand a lot like selfishly. I mean they demand a lot of you as a man, like
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be a good provider, a good steward, those types of things.
And when, you know, and I took on, you know, like we have a grandson now. So it's
Yeah.
like I look at things, the things that I gamble in more are my business, because I really do gamble. I mean, gambling, it depends
is
on
a
how much
huge
inventory
gamble.
you
Yeah.
buy. You know, if sales are down and here comes a good deal, do we spend, you know,
the 50 grand or whatever to get into it.
exactly. So like taking chances in that aspect, I'm kind of more, I'm a little bit crazier in that. But in my personal finances, dude, we like, do I want a brand new truck? Hell yeah.
Oh, me too.
I would
Do
love
I
one.
want to buy my wife a brand new car? If I can't pay for it outright, I don't want it.
Right.
Like the desire, it's still there, but
Yeah.
financially, like I don't want to do those purchases
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I look at people and I'm like, God damn, dude, he's got a brand new truck. That truck's $100 grand.
He makes
Wife's got
80 grand a
like-
year.
Yep.
And then I'm thinking, dude, they're so strapped at the end of the month. Like, you know, it's
Dude, my whole community, and me and Erica were talking about this because we live in a nice neighborhood and everyone's got these fucking wicked sick fucking $400,000 boats and fucking
yeah, just don't
hella
get it.
nice fucking cars
crazy.
and all these fucking bells and whistles. And they did every upgrade on their fucking house. And Erica's like, man, like, I wonder how much money a month they make. And I'm like, oh, they don't make fucking anything. They're either fucking, I mean, here's the thing.
They're so
either
leveraged.
rich, they're
Yeah.
either rich as fuck, which is possible.
Maybe.
Some people are.
Or they're financed to
Or
the
they
hilt.
are fucking just buried to their dicks in fucking debt.
But you can
Yeah.
kind of tell, like, you know, based off the neighborhood you live in. Now, some people are just frugal people.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot of money, or they may have a lot of money, but they don't go buy a $2 million
That's like
home.
my in-laws, dude. My in-laws are very comfortable.
Yeah.
Very comfortable. And they saved and saved and saved and saved. And now they look at their accounts and they could just come out here and buy fucking houses if they wanted to. But
they're-
it's like they're practical.
Right.
Like, hey, why don't you get a fucking new Mercedes or something? It's like, why?
Needs-
This
need-
car still runs. I don't
needs and
understand.
wants.
Yeah,
Yeah.
their needs
Are
are
met.
functionality. Like their kitchen, bro, they still have to light one of their burners with a fucking lighter because the pilot thing click, click, click,
Feel
click,
like it works
went out.
fine.
And it's like, why don't you guys remodel your kitchen? They're just like, well, everything works still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas like me and Erica, if like something gets a dent in the wall, I'm like, well, call the contractor. Let's build a new house. Like, so there is that, right?
Yeah.
And like you look at some wealthy people can be frivolous and stay wealthy, but like some wealthy people, like what's that really rich motherfucker who says his favorite like fine dining experience is getting McDonald's? He's really fucking.
Oh, is that Warren Buffett?
Warren Buffett?
Yeah.
He drives the same fucking
Dude,
car
he
he's had for like
lives
10
in the
years.
same home that they bought. I mean, he lives in a normal suburban. I mean, it's a nice place, but it's
Yeah.
it's not a billionaire's home, and that guy's like one of the richest people on the planet.
Yeah, and he's just like, yeah, I like for like a nice day out for
Well,
me
Nick,
is like
I think
McDonald's.
he said like 90% of his assets are already committed to charities and philanthropy by the time he goes. His kids are going to get like some,
Yeah.
and
Some for them still gonna be great.
Some relative to Warren Buffett's wealth is
Yeah.
more than any of most people
can
are going to
think
know
of.
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
But he's giving it all away.
Yeah.
He's just like, at the end of the day, the amount of money that he's worth to him, it's just leverage. It's capital to, it's
Do
a
the
tool.
things he wants.
It's a tool to do a thing. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's really kind of
So
aside from the common living expenses, like that's really all money is. So like when you say like you were 20, you were buying bikes and fucking whoop whoop, all this shit. It's like here's the thing too. At the end of the day, mine and Erica's rationale is like if it's not going to put us like belly up completely, nothing I own is ever going to come with me when I die.
No.
I could get fucking straight murdered today when I walk out of Sim Shot for all the shit that I talk. Some guys like, fuck you, boom.
Yeah.
And that's it, dude. And it's like, and if I was like, man, I really wish I had bought that fucking cool ass boat,
Whatever.
you know,
That's your last thought, getting shot in the face. Should have bought the Malibu.
no, but you get what I'm saying. So there is some part of it, it's like where it's like you do deserve if you can afford it and stay afloat.
I don't like.
Okay, you're right. Deserve.
If you look,
You're right, not right.
if you work hard and your desire is to play hard,
Yes, there you go.
I'm not going to judge you.
Yes.
Like it's your right to spend your money however you want.
yeah.
Yeah.
I look at it like this. Wealth to me, I think money is important, and I think you can probably correlate a dollar figure to what I'm about to say. But at the end of the day, to me, wealth is time. It's the only asset that you can't get back. You
That's-
can make more money. You can buy
That's
more
exactly
houses. You can buy more bikes. You can buy more cars. You can get a boat. You can all that stuff. It comes and goes. It breaks. It's just
Stuff.
shit. It's just stuff.
Yeah.
But time, you cannot roll the clock back.
Nope.
And I am one of those people. I believe that I have a clock. And there is a fixed amount of time on there.
And that thing's just like,
And it's ticking down. I don't know if it's ticking down 60 years from now or tomorrow or on the drive home. I don't know. I hope it's a long time. I would love to grow old, watch my sons get married, raise their own children. I would love that. Right.
Yeah.
But I believe that my clock has a fixed amount of time. And that is the one bit of capital that I will never get back.
Yeah.
Nope.
So how I spend my time, and like that's the biggest motivation. Like my wife's like, "Hey, you've been scrolling a lot," and I'm like, "Yeah," like I'll get all defensive, and then I think to myself,
Fuck you, I'm not addicted.
Well, but then I'll think to myself, I'm like, how am I spending my time?
Yeah.
Like how am I spending my wealth,
Yeah.
bro? That when you think about that perspective,
Never even thought about that.
that's crazy.
Well,
when you
so
start thinking about it,
what I
that
tell
way.
people, just like that, time is currency, and it's the only currency that at the end of the day matters.
Yeah.
So when we're doing, like for me, trying to get SimShot super self-sufficient and doing really well, whether I'm cash rolling a ton on it or not, I'm just trying to get myself as soon as I can to have time. That's all it is. If the time means I can be at home all day with my family, that's great. If it means I can go golfing while the kids are at school every single day, that's fine. It's just time, right? So even Gary Vaynerchuk, and anyone who listening, probably
Gary V, dude,
everyone
he's a
who knows
funny
who
guy.
Gary V is, and he keeps it pretty straightforward. And even still, he goes to flea markets and fucking
sure.
yard sales and
Well, he's a big
stuff.
flipper.
He is. He likes. I think it's at this point it's a
Cards
hobby.
and shoes and whatever.
But even he said like the one of the biggest things he kicked himself on was Uber. He was approached to invest in Uber, and
He's like, nah.
no. And
What a
after
dumb decision that was.
well, and here's the thing. He's like, I looked at it and I think, God, I want to say, he said something like, I failed to realize what they were selling.
Time, asset.
They were selling fucking time, right? And that's, if you think about what I'm trying to do with SimShot, I'm trying to sell people time. That's it. Like, yeah, you can go spend 5 years pumping rounds down at the range and stuff, or you can come here for an hour and we'll fucking tune you up quick as fuck, and then you can go have that time.
It's efficiency.
It's efficiency, right?
Yeah.
We're offering you a fucking streamlined way to do what you need to do.
Like, dude, Mike and I have talked about this before, where like the value proposition isn't so much how much it's going to cost me, right? It may cost me $30 more to do this little thing.
Mm-hmm.
If I just simply spend the money, I get my time back.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I care more about that
Always.
than I care about the extra expenditure.
You know
what I mean?
When I was in the car business, 'cause I was in the car business for about 20 years before getting into this business, it was like the car dealer sucked so much of your time out. You were working on birthdays,
Grinding.
all the holidays. It seemed like there was a new sale every weekend.
Yeah.
And everybody, all hands on deck. And it sucked up my 20s big time. I would never change it for the world, because the car business taught me a lot about life and business in general. And I met a lot of great guys doing it, made good money, and it set me up to do other things. But the time that I'll never get back, like literally all my 20s were, I had a boat that I never really got to use because all my friends used it, because I worked every weekend, and all my friends were off. So the time is a big deal. And, you forget that as you start getting into work and you're doing other things. We have to take that time for ourselves and do things that are actually meaningful.
Yeah.
And so, now with Sacramento Black Rifle, Boise Black Rifle, Sparks Black Rifle, I feel like I put in such a grind in the beginning, and now I have all these employees. Yes, I make less money, myself, but
Yeah.
I'm building something in my employees that are family. I can do it without them.
Right.
Allows me to have more time to do other things. And now I need to actually take stock in that. And so that was good that you brought that up. I need to take some ownership in that and make my time worth something.
Yeah.
You know what
Totally.
I mean?
I
So
agree, man.
it's important.
I think it's a crazy paradigm shift, and it's not immediate. It's super easy to like piss some time away.
Oh, dude,
It's
I was
wild, because when I think about
scrolling
my
life away last
grandfather,
night.
Yeah.
on my mom's side, he worked not a day past 50 years old. He was a civil engineer at McClellan Air Force Base, and he never worked another day in his life. And they just recently died in the last couple of years. They left so much wealth. I have no idea where they got it.
Your grandfather?
My grandparents, yeah, left my mom and my aunt huge amounts of money,
Wow.
like crazy amounts of money for the little amount that he made.
Yeah.
They were very frugal.
Well, I
But their
think
time was important.
well, that's true, but engineers in that era were very highly respected. I
They
think
built their house in 1974 in Fair Oaks for $47,000 and never moved out of it.
Dude, I have met so many homeowners in Napa who they built in Napa in these incredible locations before Napa was famous.
Oh, and they're.
It was before that bottle shock, you know, that.
But if you're not selling it, how are they making money? They must be taking money out of it, investing it in other.
Well, I mean, the property taxes, I think they're all protected under Prop 13 because they're original homeowners.
Yeah.
And so they're paying property taxes in a
previous
place
price.
like that. And so really what it is it's wealth for their family. That's really what it comes down to.
My grandparents.
A $50,000 home that's now worth 10, 20, $30 million because of where it's at.
Yeah.
You know, that's wealth for the family.
I think when my parents sold the house, or my aunt and my mom sold the house in Fair Oaks, the property tax was like $700
Wild.
because it was 47 grand back in 74 when they built it.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So cool.
So buy houses.
I think that's where your wealth is made. It's actually in real estate.
I think I've been saying this and wanting to get into it, and for whatever reason, like the risk scares me. But it's just one of those things where you have to find a mentor.
Just don't be a pussy, dude.
Well, yeah, that too. You have to find. I think finding a mentor to usher you through your first couple of.
Let me link
deals.
you up with a guy who we should have on the podcast, my buddy Shelby.
Okay.
He is the vessel.
Is that the real estate guy here?
Yep, Shelby Paget.
Yeah.
If you're local to the area, you probably know him, especially if you're in like real estate or you're in investing or you ride mountain bikes and dirt bikes. Like you fucking know this guy. He's very popular. But he is truly the reason why I am successful today.
Really?
And he is, I think, like a couple months younger than me.
Really?
We went to high school together for a brief stint, but we weren't like friends in high school.
What year did you graduate high school?
I would have graduated in 05 if I stayed. I'm a GED guy. Oh. Yeah. I was like, I need to take a test.
You know what's wild? I'm gonna rabbit trail for real quick. Do you know how many guys I know that are wildly successful financially in business, whatever, and they're high school dropouts?
Yeah, it's common.
It's crazy.
Very common.
How-
High paid personalities.
Yeah.
They know what it is to, well, I think part of it is they know what it is to work.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think at a certain point when you understand what not having anything is, it doesn't scare you so much.
Yeah.
Because you know that cool, tomorrow I'll get up and I'll work and we'll have food and we'll have shelter and it'll be fine.
Well, like, so touching on that before I go back to what I was saying is like touching on that, I'm always going to be able to fall into electrical.
Yeah.
Like I will always be able to walk into an electrical shop and just be like, hey, I was an electrician for 13 years. Like, let's get going. My business just failed. That's why there's a gap in my resume. Let's go. And I could always do that. So taking risks like SimShot, like, although it is fucking terrifying, you know what I mean? I also look at like, okay, well, we have this piggy bank over here. We have this piggy bank over here in this house, this and this and this. So it's like when we take these risks, it becomes easier as you feel like you really have that fallback plan.
Well, you build a cushion.
Yeah. Right. So like, I always feel like I'll be employable.
Yeah.
Even though, or I'm hireable. I'm not really great at being an employee because I do tell people to fuck off quite a bit. But, and I've lost a lot of jobs doing that. They're like, do this. I'm like, fuck yourself. And they're like, you're fired. I'm like, word up. Cool.
Yeah.
New job time. And they're like, why'd you leave that last company? Oh, well, it wasn't a good fit. But anyways, yeah, like it is scary, but once you start getting rolling and you know you have a good cushion, like you're all right. But at the end of the day too, it's like, true wealth, right? If you made a poor investment, so let's use me for example. If SimShot tonight was just like, boom, crash, nothing. We have to close the doors. Everything's got to go. We got to sell everything. We're fucked, right? At the end of the day, are my kids healthy? Yes. Are they still going to love me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Putting stock in what really matters.
Is my wife healthy? Yes. Is my wife still going to love me? I sure hope so. We'll see.
Well, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe a little less, but she'll probably stick around. And at the end of the day, it's like, even if I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment and had to sell my truck and I was on a bike trying to get to McDonald's to work, as long as my kids and my wife are healthy and love me, like I'm fucking loaded.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest form of wealth will always be my family.
Yeah.
And so taking these huge inherent risks, like though, yeah, I mean, it changes my kids' future outcome financially, you know, but at the end of the day, like that's my wealth.
There's also that, same, I know how to work hard, right?
Yeah.
And I've got skill sets. And so like I've done a few things that I think that do keep me quote unquote employable.
Yeah.
Right. But at the end of the day, like even if I'm working really hard to give my kids boiled chicken and noodles, they see me wake up and go drive a forklift at a lumber yard. Like they're watching me work. That's a lesson in and of itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it takes a lot. Like you leave your family for a week on end.
Yeah.
That's a
Huge
lot. That's a
sacrifice.
huge sacrifice
Yeah.
to go and make a living and then come back.
Yeah.
You know,
And
your
there might
wife's-
even, there might even be times now where you do that and you're like, oh, I miss dad. Why is dad gone? And you have that like dad guilt where it's just like, fuck, I wish I was home with my family. But at the same time,
It breeds good conversations.
it does. But then also what happens when your kids are 25 and go like, hey, I knocked up a chick and I have my own family now. And they're going to look back and be like, fuck, like I do remember my dad not being around for that week every single month or those 2 weeks every month. But like, what was he doing?
Yeah.
Like he was providing, he was doing the best that he could to provide. So like,
there's a lot of people that do that here, though. There's like, dude, I got a fireman in our neighborhood.
Oh,
that
dude,
does
so
the same
many
thing.
commuters, it's
Bunch
crazy.
of cops, like,
So many. I'm telling every flight, I'm starting to like, I've been doing it for a little more than 2 years now, which is kind of crazy to think about.
yeah, I know that's so fast. Time flies.
Dude, every flight, I'm like, we're not like homies, but like, you know, a
Yeah,
little
hey.
nod here, a little nod there.
you made
it's
it.
pretty funny.
You made it. You're still alive. Good.
Yeah.
Glad you're here. Good to see you again. Yeah.
Sacrifice, though, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's a little bit of sacrifice to,
It's a little sacrifice for a lot of gain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
But yeah. So going back to Shelby though.
Oh, yeah.
So
I pointed at him like he's
yeah,
there.
Shelby.
Shelby.
Oh, hey, he's going to be right there.
He's gonna be like, what do you want from me? So it literally never occurred to me to buy real estate. Like, wasn't even on my radar. It was me just, I had money and I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to buy a Chevelle. Like, cool. Like,
Right.
it was never, it was kind of like that. Like, me and my wife were just doing shit. And
Yeah.
it was great. And then we had our first kid and we were just like, let's go to Disneyland. Let's go get annual passes. Let's go. And we were doing this. And I saw him post something about Idaho. This was like 7 or 8 years ago. And he was already kicking ass at the real estate game. This guy is, he's a great salesman, but he's also truly like he will go through all of your walkthroughs for you if you need him to. Like he will shirt off your back, true servant's heart. Great guy. I saw him post something and I'm just like, did you just say that house was 190,000?
So he was out here before
He was out here
you
before
came?
me, yeah. So we both went to Cupertino High School. He graduated, lived out there, and was like flipping Corvettes and doing his thing and bike jumping. And then he moved out here and got married and shit and like started his life out here. And I was like, seeing him post these houses, like, hey, this house is for sale. And I'm like, how much is that? He's just like, oh yeah, it's this much. And then so I kind of chatted with him a little bit, and he's like, bro, long story short, essentially what happened was he's like, you need to buy a fucking rental property.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, here we go. So then I started really reading all of like the investment books, right? Like I got Rich Dad, Poor Dad and all those fucking books and started reading them. Shameless plug, read that book.
Great
If
book.
you are even slightly questioning your finances, read that book and then you will be like, I'm a huge piece of shit. I need to fix my life. So I was like, hey man, like, can I fly out and and you show me around and show me some properties and stuff and like, you know, let's see what's up. I flew out here and was like, and it was the first time I had come out here to like actually like look around. My band had played in Boise before, but it was literally, we came here, we played a bar. I wasn't 21, so I sat in the van in the back alley the whole time. We played, I had to get off stage and we left.
Yeah.
There was no sightseeing. So I had been here, but I had never been here.
Yeah.
And of course, he's like, oh, yeah, cool. Get your rental car. Meet me at Rembrandt's and Eagle. And I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. Of course, I'm driving around Eagle. I'm like, this is fucking beautiful. What is this place? There's no graffiti on the freeway. Like, there's relatively no trash on the freeway. You know, like it's so right away, I was just like, huh, interesting. We hopped in his truck, took me around, showed me like downtown Boise, north end Boise, South Meridian, showed me all like the nice areas. Cause
Yeah.
I was like, don't show me any fucking ghetto. Like, don't take me to like the apartment complex in Caldwell. You know what I mean? Like,
Or Nampa.
yeah. Which is fine. There's some beautiful fucking homes in Caldwell and Nampa too. But I was like, I want to stay somewhere where the crime rate's like actually like really diminished because I have a kid. And like on that trip, I was like, I'm buying this house, like this house or this house. And he said, cool. I got on a plane, went home, put 2 pieces of paper in front of my kid. And I said, which one do you want me to buy? And he went, which one has a bigger backyard? And I said, this one. He said, this one. I called Shelby and I said, put an offer out. Boom, done. First house. And then right away, he's like, okay, cool. Now you own this house. Right. We went through it, everything. And then
So
it was,
your first rental property was in Idaho.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
First rental property. And I still own that one.
Do you?
Like, I love that house.
What
And
year was that?
This was 2019.
Okay.
I think it was when I bought that first house. in Idaho.
Okay.
2019. Yeah, I mean, he basically was just like, okay, now here's what you do.
Right.
Right. And I was like, lay it out. Show me the roadmap. Because he had already owned multiple rentals too. So I'm like, if I have questions, I'm coming to you.
Dude,
so then
I love the idea of mentorship.
And really, it's like he is, to me, he's
There's
a peer.
not enough of it.
Right. He's a peer. He's a dude that I knew through BMXing and from school. Like but I wasn't below going, hey, this is clearly your expertise. Like, talk to me, help me.
Yeah.
What do I do? And then, lo and behold, even the Tennessee property, he was like, hey man, like we got a lot in Tennessee and me and 3 other guys are going to build houses on it. Do you want to build a house on it? And I'm just like, well, how much? And he broke down all the numbers for me. I literally didn't have to do anything, but essentially say yes.
Right.
I was like,
And write a check.
I'm down. And he linked me up with a realtor out there that they were working with, who was another motocross guy that he had known from Bay Area. So, and he just guided me through this, right? And in doing so, he put me in a position and I tell him all the time, like, my whole family's like everything and where we are now is all because you got us out here. Like he truly, I owe him so much because he really jump-started my life.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. You know what I mean? And he's humble, but he's like, oh no, you did all the work. You don't. And I'm like, no, dude, like, I was going to go buy a new PlayStation. I was going to go buy a fancy car. Like there was no house on the market for us that we were like really in love with that we needed to do like anything with. So he like guided me through the whole process, dude. And like, he truly is a mentor. If I have like an investment question now, I'm going to go to him first every time.
Yeah.
Every time. Even if it's not in his wheelhouse. But him guiding me through the real estate situation like that now has afforded me SimShot.
Right.
This never would have been able to come without that starting the snowball effect of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And in doing so, it got me to a point where I was at work one day and my boss was being a dick and I was like, yeah, I'm fucking quitting, dude. And he's like, well, what are you going to go do? And I was like, I'm just going to be early retired. I'm going to move to Idaho and I'm going to retire early. And I did. And I didn't.
He probably didn't even register with him. Like, what do you mean?
He glitched out.
what are you talking
He
about?
glitched out hard, especially looking at a dude with hand tattoos and shit.
Right.
He was like, what? You're going to go retire early in Idaho? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to move to Idaho now. So I went home and told my wife, I was like, I quit. We should move to Idaho. And she's like, all right, let's go look. And brought her out for the first time. And she was just like in love. We saw kids riding their bikes with no helmets that are maybe 7 to 10 years old.
Yeah.
No helmets. They had backpacks on. They're jamming down Eagle Road to go to the fucking river. And they all had fishing poles sticking out of their backpacks.
Yeah.
No adult in sight. And Eric was like, we're moving.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. So that's like kind of like, that's it. We should get him on. He's a very interesting man. He's very smart.
I'd love to meet the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's that kind of stuff.
I think
is
I met him
exactly
in here
where-
when you guys were shooting a commercial, right? Or they were doing.
Yes,
Here?
yeah, the redheaded guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Shelby.
Nice
Yeah,
guy.
great dude. Genuinely great guy. Beautiful, wonderful family. Great dad. Like, just if I look at the textbook, what I would consider on paper a great Christian, right? I would think of like you and Shelby. And then maybe Rob at the bottom of the totem pole. I'm just kidding.
I'm burning up.
But he's sweating like a hooker in church. Speaking of, the AC is not on, so I'm really thinking about these cameras.
Oh,
But they're doing good so far.
we're doing okay. We're at about an hour. I mean,
But yeah. So, and I know Shelby listens to the podcast occasionally and stuff.
cool.
So I'm sure he's gonna hear it and be like, "Dude,
Shelby,
come on."
we're not giving you an option. You're coming on the podcast.
Yeah, you really lost. Yeah, there's no saying no to this because I talk too much about you.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, you got talked up, buddy.
Yeah. But no, I mean it's wealth is everything, and it depends on what you consider wealth.
Dude, I really think like that redefining of what wealth is so huge.
Yeah.
That paradigm shift of like wealth is a dollar figure to wealth is how long can I do what I want to do and then extrapolate that over time.
Yeah.
Like when you think about it in those terms, like, yeah, sure, you can quantify it so that like, okay, cool. Maybe I need $1 million or $2 million and live off the interest or whatever it is. Like, you can quantify it. But the mindset of, no, it's more about what I get to do because of the dollar figure.
Yeah.
And that's what's important.
And at the end of the day, also having no one to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
That's, to me, that's been the greatest blessing is like, no one can tell me what to do but Erica.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to call me and be like, you need to be at work. I'm like, fuck you. I don't want to go to work today. I'm closing the books today.
And I think the three of us, we're blessed. Like, we all have women who are far above our class.
Yeah.
Yeah, we married up.
All of us do.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
But then it's like, now I get to make decisions with this person
Yeah.
rather than,
who's more level-headed and probably smarter.
yeah,
And,
depending on the topic.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I know more about guns. I mean,
I meant the level-headed thing.
no, my wife is better than me in every fucking
my
thing
wife
I
is
do.
too.
Speaking of, I know it's completely unrelated and it's a huge shift. You met Dylan, and he's the tattoo artist I go to out here now. He's the only person in Idaho I've let touch me with a needle because the standard of tattooing in Idaho is way low compared to California.
He did my wife's shoulder 2 days. What was that?
That was
Friday?
a big piece too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd she like it? What'd she get?
She loves it. It's a floral thing. It's,
Fine line,
is that like more lining?
single line, like really fancy.
Yeah.
Like he did my wife's whole like ass cheek leg and then her half sleeve.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she did birth. I didn't even know this was a thing. Birth flowers.
Dude,
For
my wife did the
our
same
sons
thing.
and myself. I was like, "You're putting me in there?" She's like, "Yeah, you're my husband." I'm like, "Oh, okay. I'm honored. Thank you."
Yeah.
A
It's
birth
really nice of
flower.
you.
I'm is it carnation? I don't know. Apparently I have a birth flower.
You do look like a cute little carnation.
Yeah, but he was saying the problem with my birth flower is it tends to look like broccoli if the guy doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I will say I think he definitely wants to stray. I think in his ideal world, he'd probably do a lot less of those like floral, like soft.
He was super accommodating,
But
though,
he-
dude.
dude,
He was
he-
very kind. The conversation was great. Like, he's a good dude. And his shop is sick. It's like this little one. It's just him. He tattoos one client per day.
Oh, he's not at Have and Hold anymore then, huh?
No, he has his own shop next to his wife's
Hair salon?
hair salon.
Ah.
She's a baller, too.
Yeah,
Apparently,
she is.
she's got like 18 different hairdressers that work for her in her
Yeah.
shop. Anyways, so
That's
he
awesome.
he built it out. It's like, dude, he's got this hella cool Tombstone poster that all of the actors from Tombstone
Sick.
signed. But he's got like a bar. He's got whiskey up there. He's got it's like kind of like this, like leather, steel, wood, like just dude vibe, which is really cool.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's fun. He's got some cool life stories too. Like we got to talking about
freaking
like
fit too.
yeah, he likes to exercise, he likes to golf, he likes to drum.
He used to be a bodybuilder.
Oh, really?
Did he? I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, he said he used to be like on all kinds of gear and stuff, and
I mean, I've heard some of that.
he's healthy now. But
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good dude. But that's
Yeah.
cool, man. I thought it was funny. And I showed Erica and she's like, oh, yeah, look, it's Dylan.
Oh, we were cracking up because as we were sitting there talking, we realized he and I have like 4 different friends
Mutuals.
in common
Yeah.
that he's met and tattooed.
Where's
and
he
become
from?
friends
He's
with.
from
From
California
California originally.
Yeah.
And then
He's been here a long
He's
time,
been
I think.
he's been out here for quite a while.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, he's not. So I didn't even realize that he was at the shop that was right in front of
Black
our
Rifle.
shop.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, right next to it.
Like
Yep.
we shared. So what's funny? One of the other tattoo artists we used to come back and drink beers with us.
Kyle.
No, it was
Kyle's cool though too.
Kyle is cool. Mike.
Yeah. So, anyways, he kind of downloaded us on all of that, which was hysterical.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it was like, oh man, small world. So
Yep. Super small world. And he's like, oh, you know, Jeremy? Yeah.
yeah.
I've been all up in him and his wife.
Well, I walked in wearing a SimShot shirt, and he's like, "Oh, I know that guy." I'm like, "Oh, we do a podcast together." He's like, "Really?" I'm like,
Yeah.
dude." So pretty funny. Small
That's
world,
awesome.
dude.
I think between the 3 of us, we know like
Probably most of the valley.
it's a big little place.
Yeah,
That is for sure.
yeah, I love it.
Yeah, man.
This is a good conversation.
Yeah.
I like talking about this kind of stuff. It's a little atypical for our content, but dude, this like philosophical, idea, the way you look at life, it's so important.
Yeah.
I didn't come in here all. I had a good drive in.
Yeah, you were
today.
pretty
There was,
mellow
like,
today.
It was freaking awesome.
No one cut you off?
I really want to stop getting pissed off about things that I can't control.
Me too.
Yeah.
I got worked up on Saturday. First check engine light I've ever thrown on my truck. And it could be something catastrophic because, the government likes to fuck us all over and regurgitate bad gases
Delete it.
back in the
Yep.
engine. Well, it's getting deleted on Wednesdays, the funniest thing. And the check engine light comes on and it has something to do with that, but it could be actually something.
Not just a sensor.
Yeah, it could be something bad. And hopefully it gets caught quick.
Yeah.
But so it could be like 4 things when I ran the code. So I was kind of fucking tore up on Saturday. I was like, dude, this sucks.
Well, it might be a good thing you want a new truck then, huh?
I don't want one. I don't want to buy it.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay for it.
Once it needs. Once
Yeah.
it needs.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. I mean, we own our cars, and my wife wants to get a larger SUV with like a 3rd row, so that you could do the soccer mom thing. Like,
Yeah.
drive kids around, have room, be able to, and I get it. I want that for her too, but I'm like, I don't want to.
Did she say what she wants?
No, we're tossing around the idea of like a Sequoia or like a Grand Wagoneer.
The Telluride's fucking sick too.
Is it?
The Kia Telluride? I think it's Kia.
I don't know. The reality is
Don't
like-
do it.
Well, I told her I was
It's
like,
a sham.
I was like, if I get deployed, then maybe. Like, I'll come back with a bunch of cash and then we could just buy it outright. I'm like, okay, we can do it then. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then it won't touch any of our savings.
Yeah.
So
It's
that's
the hard
problem.
part, dude. I
It's
don't
like,
mind buying one and financing it, but I don't want to pay interest.
that's
Yeah.
my thing. I'm like,
Every
if there's
single car
but
I've
there's
bought in
no
the last-
0% APR deals
Exactly.
right now.
Right now.
So-
no.
If I find a 0% APR deal, then okay, we'll talk about it. But
Yeah. But you got to get it all done before that 0 APR is up.
yeah.
Speaking of financials, though, honestly, Idaho Central Credit Union's offering 4.99 on high yield checking accounts.
Oh, I'm gonna.
pretty
I
good.
got.
Savings accounts.
I need
Yeah.
to do that because I got like
Yeah.
I got some cash I need to put into a
Yeah.
high yield
Move
account.
your money as needed.
Yeah.
And what I did is for a long time is I just moved my CDs every year.
Dude, this is paying more than CDs. I
Yeah.
just did a 7-month CD. This is like double.
Yeah, we'll talk offline about figures, but like I need
Yeah.
to move some stuff around. I need to make some wiser choices about where I'm putting my money.
Yep.
So
All right, guys.
yeah,
Love it.
dude, this was fun. This is a good conversation.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be gone hopefully for just a week, maybe a little bit longer. So I'll be back. Then we'll get another one up.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
Share the show, guys.
Hey, yeah,
please.
guys, seriously, Rob was just gonna say what I was gonna say.
Go
No
ahead.
Quarter Pod, on all the places. YouTube and Instagram are our biggest ones. I'm starting to post on X,
Yeah.
so please go follow us. We got the blue check mark. I paid for the X Premium.
Hell
Yes.
yeah. Look at us. We're fancy.
Look at us.
we're
Oh, we
Idaho's-
got new gear in here.
Yeah,
this
we
is
did.
awesome.
We got all the Rode mics and
We're official.
booms. It's nice because now it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't make the squeak noise.
It's way easier to just sit and
And
be
let us know.
comfortable.
Drop us some comments. How does it sound? Because there's some people that are saying that on some of the platforms
I figured it out.
that it's super
Oh,
low, that my
download
mic
us.
is louder than yours or whatever.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Everything is set even and
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So I was going through Spotify the other day because I wanted a more bassy sound to a specific album I was listening to.
There's an equalizer in there.
There's an equalizer in there, but also in there is a little button of auto regulating podcasts. It literally says podcasts, and what it does is it'll like dim the sound of podcasts or something like that. So it changes it.
really?
So your podcast is
Okay.
getting filtered through Spotify somehow, whatever the setting is. So if you're listening on Spotify and you feel like you have to full blast it, I know I've had a few people like, dude, my Spotify, it's so quiet, I can't hear anything.
And-
I turned that off and then put our podcast on, and it was fucking loud as fuck.
I can boost them a little bit. I have some play, so maybe I'll just give it some more volume so people can turn it down.
Yeah.
I guess that's probably better than having to crank it way up. That way, when you click
The
over
next song
radio, it's like,
happens and
"Wow."
you're just like, boom.
Yeah, but I've got a little bit of room where I could still boost it, but for the most part, I try to protect the quality of the sound over.
Loudness.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, check your Spotify settings, and I would wonder if YouTube has the same settings. So,
Well, we'll see how these do too.
yeah.
These sound good. I played the first one we did. I didn't like the settings, so I switched the settings like through the preamps, like everything I'm recording it through, to back to what we had on the other mics, which sounds better on this mic with
Yeah.
those settings.
Sick.
So I don't know. I like the way it sounds, but yeah, give us some feedback. But yeah, No Quarter Pod on all the things. Please follow us. Please like us. Please share all those things. It really helps.
Idaho's #1 podcast.
Oh yeah, can't go
I
without
always
saying it.
chuckle every time.
All right, guys. Thanks.
All right, guys.